All right, Nick, let's talk about the Miami Dolphins. We already talked about how big their win against the Chargers were, but it was without a little bit of help. They weren't as strong as they could have been. And on that front, we have some incredible news for the Dolphins going into week 2. They can make them even stronger than they were last week.
Yeah, Mice, couldn't agree more. Great report that you dug up, highlighting the momentum behind Miami as they get ready for a pivotal division matchup against the New England Patriots, which leads directly to my question today for Dolphins fans to answer, as always, in the comment section below. Look, big game against New England, rivalry game, division game. Give us your prediction for the Dolphins Patriots game. How you think how you think this game is gonna shake out, final score wise, in the comment section below. All right, Mice, what you got? What's the latest out of Miami?
Yeah, Nick, as the Dolphins saunter into Gillette this week, it is going to be a tough divisional matchup, as you said. But going to Gillette, you'd want your leading man at left tackle to be there. Lamb, he did pretty good in the stead of Armstead, but you'd love to have Armstead back. And we have good news on that front. I'll get into the story and we'll talk about it on the other side. This is from over on Pro Football Network, and they said the Miami Dolphins offensive line not only survived the trip to LA without Terran Armstead, the group thrived, allowing no sacks and just 2 quarterback hits against the Chargers. Very good on their part. Said, but there's no doubt that the Dolphins are better in the trenches with Armstead on the field than without him. So the news Wednesday that he was able to practice for the first time in 4 weeks was a huge plus. Another notable that week, Nick, is that Devon Achane was a full participant after being listed earlier this week for a shoulder. So, Nick, this is huge for the Dolphins. Potentially get Achane out on the field in his first meaningful snaps, a first full real NFL game. That would be good. But having Armstead back is the key here. If he can come and play, then you feel a lot better going into New England, because we all know how divisional matchups are. They are very tough. They're always gutty games. Doesn't matter how good each team is. Just feel like you've played each other for years, so you know each other a little bit better. So it's great to have your best out there, your ones on their ones, and that's going to make you feel a lot better. But Nick, I'm curious, what are your thoughts on this? If Armstead is able to make it back on the field for the Dolphins, how big is this? And just what are your thoughts going into the game?
Yeah, so it'll be huge. So you brought up the stats of the Dolphins against the Chargers and what the offensive line did. And look, they performed admirably, of course, with the injuries missing Armstead. But the reality is, if you go back and look at the film and break it down, a lot of that was how Mike McDaniel game planned it up. He was a lot more quick reads, quick throws from Tua. And a lot of it was on Tua doing a great job getting the ball out of his hands. There were a lot of potential sacks that could have happened, a lot of potential pressures that could have happened if Tua did not get rid of the ball quickly. Fortunately for him, the Dolphins, he did. And of course, he played exceptionally well and they won the game. The reality is, for long-term success of the Miami Dolphins, they need Armstead back at left tackle. Lamb did okay. Obviously, going up against Bosa and Mack, that's a tough assignment. But I'm going to be honest, watching the film, Lamb, he kind of had his work cut out for him against those two guys. Mack and Bosa both beat him on a number of occasions. It was the game planning in Tua that kind of prevented a lot of those negative plays. Getting Armstead back, hopefully in time for New England, the fact that he's on the practice field for the first time, I believe, since August 17th is a great sign, of course, going forward, that he could return against the Patriots. They would definitely need him. The Patriots have Judon. They've got a number of great pass rushers. Belichick always throws out some crafty defenses, so you'd like to have your savvy veteran back there at left tackle. But even if he doesn't make it back for the New England game, if you look at the games to follow, their matchups they play Broncos, good defense. They play the Buffalo Bills, obviously a very good defense. Then they have the New York Giants, another really good defense. Getting Armstead back in time for those key defensive matchups would also be a big boon as well, especially when you consider that the big question mark, and it still remains for Miami, can Tua be healthy for an entire season? Because we've seen it when he's healthy, he's spectacular. When he's not healthy, obviously he's not playing. Having your quality Pro Bowl veteran left tackle back would be a huge help to making sure Tua stays healthy, whether it's this week against New England, and it's looking like he probably could play. A lot of good momentum there, or sometime in the future, whenever they get him back, it's going to be a great news and a big boost for this offense.
Yeah, Nick. And looking at the division, you kind of have to take a step back sometimes. The Dolphins face a murderer's row of defenses, like you said, Bills, Jets, and Patriots, all very, very difficult. That's a tough division to be in for a left tackle. So I hope Armstead is back, because he's one of the best in the business. But to add on to this, Nick, Raheem Mostert did not practice this week. So the Devon Achane news that he seemingly, they didn't really specify exactly the severity of the shoulder, but he was listed with a shoulder. He was a full participant. So that's going to be huge going to this week. The Dolphins have a stable of backs, But if Mostert is not 100% to go, you want to see A-Chain out on that field because I think he is a big, big boost to the speed on the field when he is out there. And the Dolphins last week, we saw how much that speed is and how deadly it can be when it's all on the field at the same time. So I think this is really good news. Dolphins getting crucial guys back on the field at a really good time. This is going to be great for them going forward. Like you said, as long as Tua is healthy, Dolphins go as Tua goes, and I think everything is going good right now.